She said, "Let's just be friends. After 2 years." I said, "Cool." Then I treated her like I treat my friends, with boundaries. She snapped when I started dating her best friend. I remember the exact moment she said it. We were in my apartment, sitting on the old gray couch we bought together from a secondhand store 2 years ago. The cushions still held the shape of our late-night movie marathons, pizza nights, the nights we cried, laughed, and talked for hours. And now she was sitting 3 feet away, legs crossed, hands folded like she was about to deliver a business proposal. She said, "I've been thinking. Those words, those damn words, the ones that never mean something good." I already knew what was coming. Her eyes avoided mine. She kept glancing at the wall, the one where we hung that ridiculous painting of a cat playing piano. She hated that painting. I loved it. That's how we always were. Opposites who pretended it meant we were compatible. She finally said it. "I think we should just be friends." The words landed like soft snow. Quiet, cold. I didn't say anything for a few seconds. I just looked at her. Not like a man looking at the woman he loves, but like someone looking at a ghost, a version of her that had already moved on. "Perfect," I said. I smiled. Not because it was perfect, but because that's what she wanted to hear. And honestly, I was tired. Tired of trying to prove I was enough. Tired of being half-loved. Tired of reading between the lines of every text, every change in tone, every delayed reply. So I gave her what she wanted. Friendship. And from that moment, I started treating her like a friend. No more daily check-ins. No more good morning, beautiful texts. No more skipping nights out with the guys because she had a bad day. No more giving up parts of myself to keep her whole. She texted me 2 nights later. "Miss talking to you." I replied the next morning. "Hope you're doing okay." She called me a week later. I let it go to voicemail. She said, "Can we talk?" I texted back, "Sure, let me know when. I'm free next week." It rattled her. Because she expected tears. She expected me to fight. She expected me to chase her. But I didn't. Because for 2 years, I did all of that. And still ended up here. She'd already walked away in her heart long before her words caught up. Now I was just catching up too. She started acting weird, posting cryptic stories, liking my posts from a burner account, then pretending it wasn't her. Sending me songs, quotes, even asked if I wanted to come over to watch a movie, just as friends. I declined. Told her I had plans. And I did. I was rebuilding myself. I was going to therapy. I started journaling again. I even reconnected with people I lost touch with during our relationship. People who told me, "You were fading when you were with her." And they were right. She didn't abuse me. She didn't cheat. She didn't scream. But she drained me, quietly, consistently, without apology. She was used to being the center of attention. Used to men orbiting her. Used to people folding just to be close. And I was guilty too. I folded myself into shapes I didn't recognize. Skipped job opportunities. Ignored family dinners. Changed my hobbies, my music, even my sleep schedule. All for her comfort. And she said, "Let's just be friends." Like it was nothing. So I gave her friendship. The kind I give my real friends. Polite. Respectful. Boundaried. She couldn't handle it. 3 weeks in, she called crying. Said she made a mistake. Said she missed us. Said I was the best thing that ever happened to her. But it was too late. Because in those 3 weeks, I found myself again. And more than that, I found someone else. Her name was Maya. We met at a local fundraiser. She was helping organize a book drive. Wore glasses, had ink on her fingers from unpacking too many boxes. She asked me what kind of books I liked. I said, The ones that don't waste time. She laughed. It was the first real laugh I'd heard in months. We talked for 3 hours. Nothing romantic. Just stories, dreams, failures, regrets. She didn't try to impress me, didn't try to win me. She just showed up. And kept showing up. One night we were walking home after dinner. She said, "You look like someone who's been hurt." I nodded. She didn't ask questions. She just held my hand. Not like a lover, but like someone saying, "I got you." Meanwhile, my ex, the one who wanted to be just friends, was watching it all unfold from a distance. One night, she texted me, "Is it true? Are you dating Maya?" I replied, "Yes. No sugarcoating, no lies." She said, "But she's my best friend." I said, "You're just a friend now, remember?" And I meant it. She discovered what just friends really meant. It meant I don't owe her emotional exclusivity. It meant she doesn't get to gatekeep my happiness. It meant boundaries. And boundaries are what save you from people who confuse love with possession. She tried to guilt trip me, tried to say Maya broke the girl code, but I wasn't a prize to be passed around. I was a person. And for once, I was choosing myself. The morning after I told her I was dating Maya, she unfollowed me on everything. Instagram, Twitter, even Venmo. Blocked my number too, temporarily. Then unblocked it the next night. It was like she was staging a silent protest, but still wanted me to hear the silence. She didn't understand something fundamental. When you downgrade someone from a relationship to just friends, you don't get to monitor their life anymore. You don't get to decide who they talk to, who they date, what they feel. You made a choice, and now you have to live in the consequence of it. But people like her, they don't think consequences apply to them. She called Maya 3 days later, told her she crossed a line. Maya didn't react the way she expected. She said, "I wasn't stealing. I was loving what was left behind." That broke her, because in her mind, I was supposed to stay broken, alone, longing, waiting for her return like some sad, abandoned novel collecting dust on a shelf. But I wasn't that guy anymore. Maya and I, we were thriving. We went on bookstore dates, shared playlists, cooked at home. It wasn't flashy, but it was solid. And more than anything, it was peaceful. No drama, no walking on eggshells, no decoding what a sigh meant or why a text had a period instead of a heart emoji. It was just safe. And that safety felt revolutionary. A few weeks later, I saw my ex at a mutual friend's birthday. She didn't know I'd be there. Walked in with that nervous confidence. The kind where you pretend you're okay, but your eyes betray you. She was with a guy. Tall, quiet. Looked like he played guitar in a band that never got signed. She kept glancing at me all night. I didn't flinch. I held Maya's hand, kissed her forehead when she laughed too hard at a dumb joke. I caught my ex watching. Her smile was stiff, eyes watery. When Maya went to the restroom, my ex came over. "Hey," she said, soft and uncertain. "Hey," I replied, sipping my drink. She paused. "You look good." I smiled. "I am." She nodded like she was swallowing gravel. "I didn't expect this," she whispered. "What?" I asked. "This you, moving on so fast?" I tilted my head. "It's not fast. You just didn't see the part where I was healing, alone, quietly." She looked down at her shoes. "I thought you'd come back." "I did," I said, "but not for you. For me." She blinked, then turned and walked away. That moment, it wasn't revenge, it wasn't triumph, it was just closure, real, clean closure. One that doesn't need an apology or a confession, just truth. A few days later, Maya got a text from my ex. It read, "I hope he doesn't hurt you like he hurt me." Maya showed it to me. I asked, "Want me to respond?" She smiled. "No, silence will be louder." That's who Maya was. No mess, no games. She didn't feed into the drama. She just lived in truth, and she helped me do the same. My ex tried reaching out again. New number, fake profiles. One night, she emailed me a long letter, titled, "What We Could Have Been." It was full of regret, memories, references to songs we loved. I read every word, then I deleted it. Not out of hate, but because I didn't need it anymore. I wasn't holding on to could've. I was living in what is, and what is was love. Present, honest, quietly beautiful. She finally stopped after that. Maybe she realized I was really gone. Maybe she realized just friends isn't a pause button. It's an exit, one you can't walk back through. Weeks turned into months. Maya and I moved in together. Small apartment, creaky floorboards, sunlight pouring through the kitchen in the morning. We built a life, together. No ghosts in the closet. No half-open doors waiting for the past to walk in. Just present moments stacked like bricks. We didn't post much, didn't need to. Our love wasn't for display. It was for us. And in that quiet, I found everything I thought I'd lost. Peace, worth, and the kind of love that doesn't make you chase, but stay. About 6 months into our new chapter, I ran into her mom. Not by design, just one of those awkward, small world moments. Maya and I were at a farmer's market downtown. It was a Sunday morning, blue skies, acoustic guitar in the background, fresh sourdough in one hand, Maya's hand in the other. I didn't see her mom until we were already standing at the same honey stall. She turned, saw me, and froze for half a breath. Then, "Oh." I gave a polite nod. "Hi." She looked at Maya, then back at me. Her expression shifted. Curiosity, confusion, maybe a little disappointment. "I didn't know," she started. "That we'd see each other?" I said. "Me neither." She smiled. The kind you offer a stranger at the DMV, not someone who once considered you family. Maya, sensing the tension, excused herself politely to look at tea blends nearby. Her mom took a step closer. "She was not okay after you left," she said quietly. I kept my face neutral. She was the one who left. Her mom sighed like she'd rehearsed this conversation in her head and it wasn't going to plan. "She thought you'd chase her," she said. "That's the problem," I replied. "She thought love was a game of tag." There was a pause, a long one. "She talks about you," she added. I looked away. "I don't talk about her." Her mom's face softened, almost sad. "Still, you were good for her." "I hope this one is too," she said, nodding toward Maya. I gave a small smile. "She's better. Not just for me, for herself." She nodded once, then stepped away, but before leaving, she turned back. "She always thought you were the one that got away." I met her gaze and said, "And she's the one who let go." After that, I didn't think much about the encounter. Maya and I finished our shopping, laughed over brunch, and the day carried on. But that moment lingered in a quiet corner of my mind. Not because I missed her, but because I realized how long people will hold on to versions of you that don't exist anymore. Later that week, I got a friend request. From her. New account. No mutuals. Just her full name and a profile picture of the ocean. I didn't accept. I didn't delete it either. I just left it there. A silent symbol of a door that no longer had hinges. That night, Maya and I curled up with a movie. Something old and familiar. Halfway through, I glanced at her. No makeup, hair in a bun, blanket up to her nose. And I felt it again. Peace. She turned and caught me staring. "What?" "Nothing," I said. "Just glad you're here." She smiled. "I'm not going anywhere." And she meant it. That was the difference. Maya didn't love me for who she wanted me to be someday. She loved me now, fully, without edits. The next morning, I woke up to a long message from my ex. Again. Apologizing, justifying, remembering. It ended with, "Do you ever think about us?" I didn't reply. Instead, I opened the Notes app on my phone and wrote, "I think about how quiet it is now, how love doesn't have to be loud to be real, how some chapters don't need closure. They just need distance. I don't miss the chaos. I don't miss the questions. I don't miss you." I didn't send it, but I didn't need to. Sometimes the healing isn't in the reply. It's in the restraint. A few weeks later, her number changed. Again. I didn't notice right away. I was too busy planning a surprise trip for Maya's birthday. Something simple. Coastal cabin, books, no phones. She loved it. She said it felt like the world stopped spinning and let us breathe. On our last night there, she asked me, "Do you think people can really let go?" I knew she wasn't asking about herself. I looked at the fire crackling in front of us and said, "I think letting go isn't about forgetting. It's about choosing not to carry the weight anymore." She nodded. "You're light now." I smiled. "You are too." She leaned her head on my shoulder, and for a long time, neither of us spoke. We didn't need to. The silence was finally safe. She said, "Let's just be friends, after 2 years." I said, "Cool." Then I treated her like I treat my friends, with boundaries. She snapped when I started dating her best friend. A few months later, something strange happened. I received a wedding invite in the mail, not mine, not anyone close, at least not anymore. The envelope was thick, the kind that screams upscale. Gold leaf lettering, ivory texture, the kind of invitation you send when you're trying to impress people you don't talk to anymore. At first, I assumed it was a mistake, but then I saw the names, her name and someone else's. Apparently, she was getting married to someone new, not her ex, not someone I'd heard of. And still, my name was on that guest list. It felt like a dare, like she was saying, "See, I've moved on too. I win." I placed the card on my kitchen counter and stared at it. Maya came in from work a few minutes later and spotted it immediately. Her face didn't change. Calm. Patient. Like always. "You going?" she asked gently. I shook my head. "Not my story anymore." Maya smiled faintly, picked up the card and dropped it in the trash. No drama, no digs, just gone. That night over wine, we talked. Not about the past, about the future, about maybe moving in together, about what our mornings might look like 5 years from now, about her dream of opening a tiny bookstore cafe, about my dream of finally writing the novel I'd been putting off since forever. She looked at me, eyes warm. "You're not scared anymore, are you?" I thought about it, about the first time I was called clingy for loving deeply, about the guilt trips, the emotional breadcrumbing, the subtle threats of maybe we need a break every time I asked for something real. I wasn't scared, not anymore. I looked her in the eye and said, "No, I'm finally free." The next day, I did something I hadn't done in years. I wrote, page after page, about closure, about silence, about the weight of being someone's backup plan, about what it means to be nobody's second choice, about love that doesn't test you. It trusts you. The book didn't have a name yet, but the first line came naturally. She said, "Let's just be friends." I said, "Perfect." I kept writing. Weeks turned into chapters, chapters into something whole. Maya read every page, offered notes that didn't sting. She made tea, made space, made me believe in my own voice again. Then one day, months later, the book was done. I printed a copy, hand-bound it. No publishers, no ISBN, just a gift. For me. Maya asked, "What will you do with it?" "Maybe nothing," I said. "Maybe that's enough." She smiled and kissed my forehead. A week later, her friend hosted a dinner. A bunch of couples, games, wine, that kind of thing. Halfway through the night, one of Maya's friends, Rachel, I think, asked, "So, what's the most romantic thing you've ever done for each other?" People went around the room, sharing stories. When it got to us, I glanced at Maya. She said, "He wrote me back to life." Everyone laughed, sweetly, thinking she was joking, but she wasn't. Later, when we were cleaning up, Maya found something tucked inside her coat pocket. It was the old wedding invitation. She pulled it out, confused. "I thought we threw this away?" I stared at it. It wasn't the one she'd trashed. It was a new one. Another envelope. No return address. Same ivory texture. Same gold leaf. But this one was different. Inside was just a note. Typed. No signature. "You were right to walk away." That night, I didn't sleep much. Not because I was upset, but because it reminded me how far I'd come. How once I would have obsessed over that message. Tried to decode it. Tried to reach out. Now, I just let it sit on my desk. A relic. Not of what I'd lost, but of what I'd outgrown. Weeks passed. Seasons changed. Maya and I moved in together. Found a tiny apartment with a creaky floor and too many windows. We argued about dumb things like dish racks and fridge magnets. We laughed until our faces hurt. We built something. Not perfect, but honest. Then one night she asked if I ever thought about her. Not Maya, her. I told the truth. "Sometimes," I said. Not because I miss her, but because she taught me how much I was willing to settle for. Maya nodded, squeezed my hand. And now? I looked around, at our tiny space, at the life we were making. "And now," I said, "I don't settle. I choose." That's how the story ends. Not with a confrontation, not with a grand gesture, but with quiet, with peace, with choosing someone who chooses you back, without conditions, without ego, without games. She wanted just friends. I gave her exactly that. Distance, respect, boundaries, and a front row seat to the life she could have had. Only now, it's not hers anymore. It's mine. And that is more than enough.